Hello, hello, friends. Today we have Brad Yates with us. Thank you, Brad, for coming and joining us. It's
My
wonderful to
pleasure.
have you.
Happy to be here.
Brad, yes, thank you. Brad Yates is known internationally for his creative and often humorous use of emotional freedom techniques, EFT, also known as tapping. Brad is the author of the best-selling children's book, The Wizard's Wish, the co-author and bestseller Freedom at Your Fingertips, and a featured expert in the film The Tapping Solution. He has also been a presenter at a number of events, including Jack Canfield's Breakthrough to Success, has done teleseminars with the stars of The Secret, Bob Doyle and Dr. Joe Vitale, and has been heard internationally on a number of internet radio talk shows. Brad also has over 1,000 videos on YouTube that have been viewed over 47 million times. More info is available at tapwithbrad.com. Awesome sauce.
Thank you, Tchera.
So, Brad, please tell us, if we don't know at all, what is emotional freedom technique? Tapping.
Yeah,
What is
thanks.
it?
So this EFT, also known as tapping, is a process of literally tapping with our fingertips, primarily on our face and torso. And for anyone watching who's new to this, I know it sounds a little strange at first, but please indulge me because there's a very good reason why we do it. So it's based on acupuncture. For thousands of years in Chinese medicine, they've said there's a flow of energy through the body along these pathways called meridians. And when this energy is flowing naturally, we experience our natural state of health and well-being. When this energy gets blocked or disrupted in some way, then we don't feel as good. We don't think as clearly. We don't make the best choices. And that has all kinds of unfortunate consequences. So in traditional Chinese medicine, the doctor would stick these needles in these key points around the body to stimulate that healthy flow of energy. And we're just doing that by tapping on these points with our fingertips. And it primarily relieves stress. We have all kinds of scientific research showing how it downregulates stress. And when you consider that most, if not all, of the issues that bother us physically and emotionally are either caused by or worsened by stress, then you can see that having a simple technique for down regulating that stress can be so beneficial in so many areas of our lives.
It's fun too.
I try to make it fun.
Yeah, I think it's fun. You get to do somewhat feeling weird thing,
Yeah.
and find out that actually it does. It does something. It's fun. It's fun for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So how is it that it helps people though?
Well, most of the things that we want to change in our lives, we stop ourselves because we have a stress response. We have some old idea about why we couldn't or shouldn't make that change, whether it's improving our career, improving our finances, improving our health. Most of us know what we could do in order to change that, but we don't do it. And then we often beat ourselves up for that. And I always say, no, don't be compassionate with yourself, because self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love. We're trying to protect ourselves. If we say that we're trying to be healthy, but we eat a box of donuts, if we say we're trying to improve our finances, but we go and throw our money away on some frivolous expense, and then we go, oh, I'm so stupid. It's like, no, there's something inside of you saying, I need to do this in order to make myself feel better. And I know there are going to be consequences later, but I'm trying to take care of myself. It's an act of self-love. So I want to be compassionate with myself for trying to take care of myself, even be appreciative. Hey, I really appreciate the way you downed that whole box of donuts. Wow, that was really an act of self-love. Let's look at that and see if we can't find a healthier way of dealing with that. Let's find a healthier way of dealing with stress rather than spending all this money on a new pair of shoes that you didn't need and actually have a pair that's just like it anyway, or whatever else it might be that we might be doing. And we're doing those things. We're taking those actions because we have some uncomfortable feeling going on in our body. And we have old programming saying, well, you know what makes you feel better? A box of donuts, a new pair of shoes, a new whatever it might be. And so we try to take care of ourselves. Instead, we could tap to downregulate the stress and that uncomfortable emotion such that, oh, you know what? I'm feeling better. I don't think I want to eat donuts right now. Or, or I might allow myself one, but I certainly don't want more than one, because I'm not trying to feed this emotion. I'm not trying to cover up an emotion with this unhealthy behavior. So the tapping helps to downregulate that uncomfortable emotion that might cause me to behave in a way that sabotages my what I want, or simply just stops me from feeling good in the moment.
Yes. Do you do it, excuse me, do you do it as you're attending to that emotion? How do you do the tapping when, let's say, emotion discomfort arises and I'm already in the box of donuts and and then I remembered, let me tap a little, see what happens. And then what do you do?
Yeah. So you can tap. There are 8 points that we generally tap, from the eyebrow, side of the eye, under the nose, under the lower lip, right here where the collarbones come together, just under the armpit, and the top of the head. So these are the points that we'll generally use in a tapping round. So you could do a formal tapping round, which also includes a setup where we say, even though I'm craving these donuts, I choose to love and accept myself. And then I'd say, I want this donut, I want this donut, I want this donut, or whatever else it might be. Or I might say, I feel this stress, or sadness, or whatever the feeling is. So I could do a formal tapping round like that with the setup and all the points. I could just start tapping one point. If that's simpler in that moment where, oh my God, I just had a second donut, and I'm holding a third donut in my hand. What's going on? At that moment, it might be easy just, okay, I'm not going to think about it too much. I'm just going to start tapping one of these points and just allow that stress to start processing and going, okay, wait a minute. What's going on here? I know that I don't need any donuts, but I certainly don't need more than one. And allowing myself to recognize what's really going on here. What I'm not feeding my body. What am I trying to feed? And so in that moment, we can just simply start tapping.
Mm.
And then at that point, we might want to, if we have more awareness of, well, I'm just really sad right now. That's why I'm eating these donuts. I'm really sad right now. All right, so maybe I can explore that while I'm tapping, either going through the different points or just tapping one point. As I'm allowing myself to calm down and clear out stress, I can look at what's really going on here, and what do I really want? What is a healthier way to shift this? What's a healthier action that I can take that might actually resolve the situation that I'm in? Or it may just be, there's nothing I can do about this. Something's happened. I'm sad about that, or whatever it might be. And I'm just going to allow myself to process the emotion rather than trying to stuff it down with extra calories.
And you're saying all this while you're tapping?
You can absolutely be saying it. So in the basic round of EFT, we would say, even though I really want this donut, I choose to love and accept myself. Or even though I feel really sad, I choose to love and accept myself. We can choose whatever phrase we want to use for the situation. And then on each point, we'd repeat that. This sadness or this craving for the donut. And we just repeat that on each point. But in the moment, if that feels too complicated, even as simple as that is, you could just tap silently and just allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. But the tapping helps process that. So we downregulate the stress. It's not about, ooh, I've got a feeling, I'm trying to get rid of it, because I don't believe in negative emotions. all the emotions that we have are part of the human experience, but some are less comfortable than others. So we don't want to be stuck in it. So for instance, anger or fear, these are alarming emotions. And just like the smoke detector in your house is not a bad thing. We wouldn't say, oh, that's a negative appliance. No, it's a very important thing, so that if there's a fire, we want that alarm going off, letting us know there's something going on. Fear and anger, and in fact, all of the uncomfortable emotions, sadness, guilt, these are just alarm emotions letting us know, hey, there's something to pay attention to. But just like with the smoke detector, when the alarm goes off, we can say, oh, there's something that needs to be addressed. And I can go into the kitchen and look. And if there's a fire, I grab the fire extinguisher, I put it out. I don't need to have the alarm keep going off and not taking action. I want to take action, then the alarm can go off. Same with any of the uncomfortable emotions. It's just letting me know, oh, there's something to address, and I can go take care of that. And then the alarm can go off. I don't. So emotional freedom techniques is I have freedom around my emotions. So often we think, well, that's just how I have to feel. This happened. I have to be upset right now. I have to feel this. Like, no, we're giving ourselves the freedom to experience more pleasant emotions, not pushing it away. We're just, because I don't want to, if I have an anger response about something because somebody just lied to me or something like that, I don't want to say, oh, anger is a bad feeling, I just want to tap it away. And then I just go back to normal with this person who lied to me and I just pretend nothing happened. Like, no, I want to pay attention to this. And I want to be able to say to this person, hey, what you did isn't cool. We need to address this. But I also don't want to just be responding from anger such that I say, you're a terrible person, and I punch them. Because that has all kinds of unfortunate consequences. They might punch back. So we want to downregulate the stress so that we can find a better way to deal with it. Same with if the smoke detector goes off in our house and we go into the kitchen, there's a fire. I don't want to be freaking out and grabbing a baseball bat and just smashing everything in the room, hoping that if I smash it, the fire will go out. I want to be thinking as clearly as possible so that I go, oh, grab the fire extinguisher, put that out.
So it's simple and quick enough that to give us a little moment to choose, basically, to choose how to deal with whatever it is that's coming up, maybe. And so I'm wondering two things. One of them is a scenario where an overworking, overdoing, overthinking type of person that we are here, for sure. And you know, where would that best what's a scenario that we can think yeah, hypervigilance itself, actually, you know, I've certainly found myself time and again in acting in hypervigilant ways, and you know, by the time I can recognize it, and I'm still so fast moving and basically manipulating, trying to control the situation is my intent in that. And so I can even if I'm in public, I can still tap and silently and do so. I want to really go through this together.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah.
And that's the problem, is when we're stressed. See, we have this thing in our brain called an amygdala, and it's basically looking for threats. It's looking for what's wrong. And if it perceives a threat, then it puts us into fight or flight. And so we're trying to prepare ourselves for how to deal with something. So when our brain was first developing a couple 100,000 years ago, we had life-threatening situations, saber-toothed tiger, a neighboring tribe with spears, whatever it might be. And I had to be able to build up my strength to fight this, or to be able to run away, or to handle it. But the brain, the amygdala, still responds even if someone just says an unkind thing to me. I go into fight or flight, even though it's not life-threatening. And when we go into that, the prefrontal cortex, the rational part of our brain, goes bye-bye. So I'm now trying to deal with this situation, like you said, in that hypervigilance or that overworking situation. I'm going, oh, something's wrong. Something's wrong. I better figure this out. But the part of my brain that really knows how to figure things out is gone AWOL. It's not there. So I want to be calming myself down so I can say, okay, I recognize something's going on here. I want to, so fight or flight is what's called the sympathetic nervous system. And then we have the parasympathetic nervous system. And that's when we get the all clear. It's like, okay, the threat is gone. Now we can slow down our breathing, we can slow down our heartbeat, and we can start to think more clearly again. So we want to do that so we can look at the situation and go, what's going on here? If I'm being hypervigilant, if I'm feeling that fear, what's going on? What am I afraid of? And even in terms of the overworking, if we look at it and say, I'm working too much, I'm working 20 hours a day, I'm not getting enough sleep, I'm not seeing my loved ones. So I might look at it and say, okay, what would happen if I didn't do that? What am I afraid of? What fear is driving me? So actually, I think that'd probably be a great thing to tap on for this audience of overachievers. So what I would say is go ahead and close your eyes and take a deep breath. And think about your situation where you might be overdoing it, where you're burning yourself out. And imagine changing that. Imagine changing your schedule and saying, okay, you know what? It's 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I turn my computer off and I go and I spend time with the people that are important to me. You know, whatever it is. So if you're the sort of person who works until 10 o'clock at night, you might say, all right, what if I stopped at 8 o'clock? Allow yourself to think about some action that you could take, some change you could make that you believe would be more ideal. And just following your breath through your body, notice how much discomfort might be there. Notice how much resistance might be there. Notice those thoughts that say, are you crazy? That would totally ruin my business. I can't afford to do that. And allow yourself to just notice, is that really true? Allowing yourself to be aware of what you might be afraid of. So if I made this healthy change, what am I afraid would happen? And just following your breath through your body, just notice where in your body you might feel discomfort, and notice any thoughts, beliefs, or memories that might come up. You may not have clear thoughts at the moment. You may just feel what's going on in your body, but you may also have thoughts of, oh my goodness, I remember my parents insisting that I stay up late cleaning the house. And there was always this pressure to do more. And value was always placed on effort rather than getting a good night's sleep or healthy behaviors or whatever it might be. Just allow yourself to be aware of all of those thoughts and beliefs or feelings about why you have to work this hard. Take a deep breath. Open your eyes. So the process of EFT, as I said, we start by saying whatever the issue is, and we tap on the side of the hand, say, even though I have this issue, I choose to love and accept myself. And then we'll go through these points: eyebrow, side of the eye, under the eye, under the nose, under the mouth. Right here where the collarbones just about come together. And you can even make a fist and tap those points, both those points. This point is about 4 inches below the armpit. It's right about bra strap level, and I'm sure even the guys can figure out where that is. And then the last point is the top of the head. So we'll go through this, and I'll be saying different phrases. It's an intuitive process for me, so I don't know yet what I'm going to say, but we'll see what comes up, because it's connecting with your energy and the energy of people who aren't even yet watching this, but just getting ideas of, oh, maybe we should talk about this. And some of the words that I say might not resonate for everybody. Don't worry about it. This is a cleaning process. So it's just like if you spill something on your countertop and you're wiping it up with a sponge. If you spill coffee, you could be saying orange juice. And it's not like, oh, now there's going to be orange juice on my counter. You're going to be cleaning up whatever's there. And even if nothing was there, as you're cleaning, it's like, okay, it's not like I'm going to create a mess by doing a cleaning process. It's just going to clean up whatever might be there, or, it's not going to do any harm. So what I'll invite folks to do is go ahead and be tapping the side of the hand and say, even though I need to work this hard, I choose to love and accept myself.
I choose to love and accept myself.
Even though I think I have to work this hard,
Even though I think I have to work this hard,
I choose to love and honor myself.
I choose to love and honor myself.
Even though I think I have to work this hard,
Even though I think I need to work this hard,
and it's not helping me in some ways,
it's not helping me in some ways,
it's really hurting me in some ways,
it's hurting me in some ways,
but I can't stop.
but I can't stop.
And even though I think I have to work this hard,
And even though I think I have to work this hard,
I choose to deeply and completely
I choose to deeply and completely
love, honor, and accept myself.
love, honor, and accept myself.
And maybe anyone else who taught me to work this hard.
And maybe anyone else who taught me to work this hard.
Because I choose to be that free.
Because I choose to be that free.
All this need to work so hard.
Always need to work so hard.
All of this need to work so hard.
All this need to work so hard.
To the point where it's doing harm.
To the point where it's doing harm.
Where I'm getting burned out.
I'm getting burnt out.
Where my family is forgetting what I look like.
My family's forgetting what I look like.
And part of me says,
and part of me says,
well, that's too bad.
well, that's too bad.
But I have to work this hard.
But I have to work this hard.
I have to be hypervigilant.
I have to be hypervigilant.
If I'm not feeling burned out,
If I'm not feeling burnt out,
if I'm not feeling stress,
if I'm not feeling stressed,
I'm obviously not working hard enough.
I'm obviously not working hard enough.
And I'm not doing it right.
And I'm not doing it right.
So I have to work this hard.
So I have to work this hard.
And I choose to love and appreciate those parts of me.
And I choose to love and appreciate those parts of me
that are driving me,
that are driving me,
that are pushing me so hard,
that are pushing me so hard
because they believe it's necessary.
Because they believe it's necessary.
It's protecting me.
It's protecting me.
Part of me is so afraid.
Part of me is so afraid
that if I don't work this hard,
that if I don't work this hard,
there will be some terrible consequence.
There will be some terrible consequence.
I may not even be clear about what it would be.
I may not be even clear about what it may be.
I can't risk it.
I can't risk it.
I can't afford to find out.
I can't afford to find out.
So I burn the midnight oil.
So I burn the midnight oil.
I push myself so hard.
I push myself so hard.
Even though it's doing me harm.
Even though it's doing me harm.
It might be harming other people.
It might be harming other people.
And I'm not doing it because I'm bad or stupid.
And I'm not doing it because I'm bad or stupid.
But because I have programming that tells me.
Because I have programming that tells me.
That working this hard is necessary.
That working this hard is necessary.
That I can't afford to not work this hard.
That I can't afford to not work this hard.
And even though there are unfortunate consequences.
And even though there are unfortunate consequences.
For my relationships.
For my relationships.
Maybe for my health.
Maybe for my health.
Part of me says.
Part of me says.
Yeah, but the alternative would be worse.
Yeah, but the alternative would be worse.
The pain that I'm experiencing from working so hard.
The pain that I'm experiencing from working that hard.
is not as bad as what I'm afraid would happen.
Is not as bad as what I'm afraid might happen
If I didn't work this hard.
if I didn't work this hard.
And I'm allowing myself to process this.
And I'm allowing myself to process this.
What am I really afraid of?
What am I really afraid of?
If I allowed myself a little more time,
If I allowed myself a little more time
for the people I love,
for the people I love,
for self-care,
for self-care,
what am I afraid would happen?
what am I afraid would happen?
And would that really happen?
And would that really happen?
Is this a real fear?
Is this a real fear?
And if that work needs to get done,
And if that work needs to get done,
is there a healthier way to get it done?
is there a healthier way to get it done?
I'm allowing myself to calm down
I'm allowing myself to calm down
so that I can think more clearly
so I can think more clearly
and find a better solution.
and find a better solution.
How can I get done what needs to be done
How can I get done what needs to be done
while also finding time for what I want?
while also finding time for what I want?
Because if it costs me all of my health and happiness,
If it costs me all my health and happiness,
is it really worth it?
is it really worth it?
I choose to create an awesome life.
I choose to create an awesome life.
I am worthy and deserving of an awesome life.
I am worthy and deserving of an awesome life.
I have what it takes to create an awesome life.
I have what it takes to create an awesome life.
And I'm looking at how to do that.
And I'm looking at how to do that.
And there are ways to do it.
And there are ways to do it.
Because there are people out there doing it.
Because there are people out there doing it.
So why not me?
So why not me?
And there might be some answers coming up to that question.
And there might be some answers coming up to this question.
And I'm processing them.
And I'm processing them.
I'm allowing myself to see.
Allowing myself to see
What old thoughts come up
what old thoughts come up
about why I couldn't have a more comfortable life,
about why I couldn't have a more comfortable life,
a more enjoyable life,
a more enjoyable life,
a healthier life.
a healthier life.
I'm allowing myself to see the misunderstandings.
I'm allowing myself to see the misunderstandings.
Some of them might be mine.
Some of them might be mine.
Some of them might be other people's
Some of them might be other people's
that they passed on to me.
that they passed on to me.
And I choose to clear those.
And I choose to clear those.
Clearing these misunderstandings.
Clearing this misunderstanding.
Clearing them at a cellular level.
Clearing them at a cellular level.
And all the way back through my past.
And all the way back to my past.
Back through all those times in my life.
Back to all those times in my life.
Where I somehow got the message.
Where I somehow got the message.
I just had to work hard.
I just had to work hard.
No matter the consequences.
No matter the consequences.
And maybe things happened in the past.
And maybe things happened in the past.
Where I didn't work as hard.
Where I didn't work as hard.
And there were consequences.
And there were consequences.
And I want to avoid that pain.
And I want to avoid that pain.
And there may have been a reason.
And there may have been a reason.
Maybe I wasn't doing all that I needed to do.
Maybe I wasn't doing all I needed to do.
So now I do more than I need to do.
So now I do more than I need to do.
Just to be on the safe side.
Just to be on the safe side.
I choose to figure out the right amount.
I choose to figure out the right amount.
I'm clearing the fear.
Clearing the fear.
Allowing myself to think more clearly.
Allowing myself to think more clearly.
Finding the best way to create an awesome life.
Finding the best way to create an awesome life.
In body, mind, and spirit.
in body, mind, and spirit.
And take a deep breath. Go ahead and close your eyes, go inside, and think about how hard you work, and think about what could you do to create a healthier situation. What would be a more awesome life for you? And imagine taking the actions to set that up. And hopefully that feels more comfortable. Maybe it feels more doable. It's like, oh yeah, I actually could set a boundary on my time. So how's that feel?
Was fun. That was fun. Thank you. Yeah, I love putting myself in a position where it feels like we're doing something that we don't usually do. That's fun.
Yeah.
I love that. And yeah, and the wording was great. I figured that, for me, it came up that the amount is just such a key. Not too tight and not too loose is like the key. Not too tight, not too loose. And it's a fine balance that is not static. So it's like
Yeah.
ongoing. Um,
Absolutely. And it changes
yeah,
from day to day. And it's not that hard work is wrong,
yeah, absolutely
but it's
not.
finding out what is the balance, because it's not like, well, hard work is just good. And so the more, if something is good, the more you do of it, the better. But there are other things that are important. Self-care, doing things that are healthy for our bodies, for our relationships, all these things. So I don't want to say, well, hard work is the only thing that's valuable, but we may have a lot of programming about that,
Mhm.
where, because I grew up in a household where the only thing that was valued was hard work, and everything else was ridiculous. So I am now going on, and it's like, if I'm working so late, my wife is like, I never see you, and this, it's like, it doesn't matter. You should be thanking me for working so hard, because this is how I tell you, this is my love language, you
Mhm.
know, spending all my time at the office working is how I tell you that I love you. And why don't you understand that? Wait, where are you going? Why did you leave? So it's finding
Yeah.
what is a healthy amount of work, and it's going to vary for different people. But
Mhm.
there's a level that's right, such that we create a life of, yes, I spend the amount of time that I want to spend working, and I spend the amount of time doing other things as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm wondering how did you come up into this work? How did you get into this? What was your story?
How does a grown man find himself tapping on his face for a living? Yeah, I actually started out as an actor.
Mhm.
I was traveling the world doing theater, went to Hollywood to be a movie star, as one does. And while I was there, I met this woman and fell in love, and I got married. And when our first child was on the way, I thought I might need a backup career, because I had a few things. I'd played a doctor on Days of Our Lives, but not long enough to support a family. And so I was looking for other things that I might do on the side, and I saw an ad for hypnotherapy school. And I thought, I've always been fascinated in the power of the mind. This would be really cool. So I went through the training, built a small practice alongside my acting career. And then a couple of years later, when our second child was on the way, I realized, as much as I loved acting, this was my calling. Doing personal development work was really what was most satisfying for me. And so I left Los Angeles, and through some other hypnotherapists, I heard about this energy psychology conference where they were teaching this tapping process. And I know that for folks, if they're new to it, it looks a little strange. Now, as an actor, one of the things I had done is I went to Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College. So this was not the strangest thing I'd ever done. So I was a little more open-minded than the most people might be. So I thought, wow, this is really fascinating, and started incorporating it little by little into my hypnotherapy sessions until it became my main practice.
Mhm. So do you incorporate hypnotherapy as well now, or
I
you
do. In
do?
my sessions,
Yeah.
I generally end a session with a guided imagery, and even on my YouTube channel, I've started adding. This morning, I put out a new video every Monday, and this morning, excuse me, this morning put out a hypnosis video. I still find it a great tool. I just find this more accessible in many ways.
Are you saying that are you combining them, or are you how are they related, would you say, or how are they different?
They're both ways of down regulating the stress so that we're more open to change. But this is easier for folks to do in a moment. So especially if you're in a moment where there's a lot of stress happening, someone has said something to you that you're upset about, it might be hard to say, okay, give me 45 minutes. I'm going to go and sit in a quiet place and to try to get ourselves into that hypnotic state or a meditative state is very challenging. But this doesn't require any kind of silence or a quiet space or any deep thoughts about what we want to try to create or imagine. So I find this more accessible as a daily practice for downregulating stress. But hypnosis is a very nurturing process for body, mind, and spirit. And I like ending a session with that because it's kind of, we'll often take what we've been tapping on, and now it's like, okay, let's just sort of just bathe in that now and just imagine what's possible. And it just is a nice way to finish up the work.
Beautiful. Thank you.
My pleasure.
So also finally tell us that you have a free gift. And I was also wondering, it just came in before you go to the free gift. Tell us about the YouTube videos too. In 1,000 videos, how are you doing like different tappings on different subject matters, or you're doing all kinds of subject matters?
Right. Whatever's bothering you, there's probably a tap for that. I have videos on money issues, videos on stress, videos on relationship issues, just videos generally on being happier, on feeling more peace, and trying to clear out what gets in the way of that. So you can see on the back wall there, I have a picture of Michelangelo's David, and I have Davids all over the place because it's just a perfect analogy. Michelangelo said the statues were already there, perfect inside the marble. All I have to do is chip away what doesn't belong to reveal the masterpiece inside. And to me, that's how it is with us as human beings. The best version of ourselves, the happiest, healthiest, most successful version of ourselves is already inside, but we have all this excess marble covering us up. It's anger and fear and stress and feelings of unworthiness and I don't deserve this and all that. So we're just chipping away what doesn't belong to reveal that masterpiece.
Beautiful. Yeah. And it can be so helpful, no, to first be guided through many times so that you can actually finally easily do it for yourself.
Absolutely. As I said, it's a simple technique. You can tap silently, you can tap on one point and you'll get benefits. But if you're focusing on a particular issue and you might say, I'm not sure what to say about that. Well, I've taken the guesswork out for you. Just, you can follow along, look up on my YouTube channel, issues with my dad. Okay, there's a video for that. And you can tap along. And if some of the words don't match, you can change the words, but it just makes it simpler to follow along until you feel more comfortable and say, oh, okay, now I know what I want to say while I'm tapping.
Yes, beautiful tool. Thank you. And then tell us, what is your free gift?
So if you go to my website, tapwithbrad.com, there is a free 5-day program called Success Beyond Belief. And so it sounds like, wow, success beyond belief. It's like an unbelievable amount of success, but it's also the success beyond your current beliefs. So for this particular audience of overachievers and overworkers, it's what is the success, so levels of success without killing yourself, without putting yourself in a hospital. Because we have this idea of, in order to achieve so much success, I need to work this hard. So whatever equation you have about how much actual effort, how many calories have to be burned for every dollar that I earn, that equation is not a universal equation. Because if it was, people like Bill Gates and Richard Branson would be dead, or at least in the hospital, from the effort required to make that much money. So we look at it and go, okay, what kind of success, overall success, creating a life that I love, is possible beyond my current beliefs about what it has to look like? So it's a 5-day program of tapping on different issues to create a greater opening about what success can be and how you can achieve it.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
My
Thank you,
pleasure.
Brad. Thank you so much for all of this. And thank you, friends. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate the opportunity, and I appreciate everyone here being willing to play along and, allow yourself to feel better, do better, and live better.